Are you ready to confront a potentially shocking truth? A truth no one wants to talk about, but one that is silently destroying the lives of millions of men over 60? What if I told you that a private habit, one you've had for decades, could be the very reason you no longer feel like yourself? That something so routine, so familiar, could be quietly harming your prostate, weakening your erections, draining your energy, and even dulling your emotional connection with others. Most older men never realize this. They accept changes in their bodies and minds as an inevitable part of aging. They tell themselves, this is just nature's course, everyone goes through it. But I'm here to tell you, that doesn't have to be the truth. There are choices, small changes you can make to regain control of your life, so that your golden years aren't a period of decline, but a time of growth, peace, and fulfillment. Welcome to Aging Health Vital Guide, where we aren't afraid to touch on the most sensitive topics, the most private corners of senior health, to bring you authentic, profound, and humanistic knowledge. We understand that at this age, you've weathered many storms, accumulated vast experience. Yet some issues, no matter how crucial, are rarely spoken about openly or shared. If you find what we share brings you peace and meaning, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. Your support is our greatest gift, motivating us to continue spreading love and knowledge. I am Dr. Robert Miller, a men's health expert with over 30 years of experience, working closely with thousands of aging men across America. Throughout that time, I've uncovered a powerful truth, a painful paradox that few dare to face. It's not the act of masturbation itself that harms older men, but rather the how, why, and when they engage in it that makes all the difference. What was effective, even harmless, at 25 could be slowly destroying your body at 65. Habits once seemingly innocuous, even beneficial, can become insidious agents, leading to low testosterone, poor sleep quality, chronic pelvic pain, and emotional numbness, a detachment from life itself. And by the time symptoms appear like difficulty sleeping, numbness in limbs, profound loneliness, or fading libido, it has already become deeply ingrained in their routines, an inseparable part of their daily lives. They tell themselves, this is just old age, this is normal. Everyone goes through it. But is it truly normal to feel like you're losing a vital part of yourself? Losing the ability to feel joy, losing connection with the people you love? I believe it is not. That's why in this video, I will show you the 4 most detrimental mistakes in masturbation that men over 60 often make and deeply regret later. These mistakes are surprisingly common, subtly destructive, but entirely fixable. And the moment you understand them, you will gain the power to reclaim your vitality, your sensitivity, and your sense of control over your life. Join me, because mistake number 3 is one I've witnessed destroy many marriages, many intimate relationships, and most men don't even know they're making it. Before we dive deep, make sure you've subscribed to the channel and turned on notifications so you never miss other vital health information specifically for men over 60. And if this message resonates with you, type the number 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I know how to serve you better in the next video. Alright, let's start with the first mistake. Mistake number 1, dopamine depletion, pornography dependence after 60. Honestly, this is one of the most common and overlooked mistakes I've seen in older men. It creeps into life silently, seemingly harmlessly, but leaves profound consequences. For many of my patients, it wasn't a problem initially. In fact, they often told me it helped them feel something during times of loss, sadness, stress, or distance from their partners. They didn't think much of it. Just a few minutes of escape, a little release, a harmless habit, a way to kill time, when there was nothing else to do. But what began as a private coping mechanism gradually transformed into something entirely different. Something that started to change how their brains experienced desire, pleasure, and even motivation for life itself. I vividly recall one gloomy afternoon, a man in his 70s, let's call him Joe, sat across from me with tears in his eyes. He was a successful man, once a leading engineer, with a brilliant career and a thriving family with grown children and grandchildren. But when his wife, his companion for over 50 years, passed away from a long illness, a huge void appeared in his life. Joe, a man who was inherently strong and rarely showed emotion, turned to pornography as a way to fill that void, to seek a little sensation, a little pleasure in moments of profound loneliness. He said, Dr. Miller, I thought I was just getting old, losing my edge, losing my natural desire. But now I realize I can't feel anything real anymore. I don't even desire it like I used to, or desire anything else in life. It breaks my heart. I feel like I'm losing an important part of myself, a part one used to be so proud of. That's the ability to feel joy, to truly connect. Joe's story is not unique. I've heard it from hundreds of different men, from ordinary workers to seasoned veterans, to erudite university professors. And it all boils down to one thing: dopamine. What is dopamine? It's a crucial neurotransmitter in the brain, responsible for your feelings of motivation, anticipation, and reward. When you experience something pleasurable, your brain releases dopamine, creating feelings of excitement and satisfaction. It's the chemical of joy, of drive, of vitality. And when you watch pornography, especially the fast-paced, diverse, and extreme content so prevalent today, your brain is flooded with dopamine in a sudden and powerful way. At first it feels exciting, a burst of pleasure. But the more you do it, the more your brain gets used to that abnormally high surge of dopamine. It's like constantly eating extremely sweet foods. Eventually, your taste buds become dulled, and normal sweet foods taste bland. Over time, the dopamine receptors in your brain start to become desensitized. They're like locks that have been worn out from being opened too many times with fake keys, not the original ones. They stop responding as they used to, and suddenly your partner's gentle touch, the scent of her skin, the intimacy of a real connection, the laughter of your grandchildren, the joy from a good book, none of it feels stimulating anymore, none of it brings pleasure. Your body hasn't given up. It's your brain that has become numb from dopamine overload. That's the tragedy here. Many older men think their lack of desire, their loss of joy in life, is due to aging or low testosterone. Yes, those things play a role, but more often than not, this subtle dopamine depletion is the main culprit. It creeps in quietly. You don't notice it happening, but one day you wake up and it's been weeks, maybe months, since you felt genuine natural excitement from the simple things in life. And worse, it can lead to a vicious cycle, requiring more extreme content, stronger stimuli just to feel anything, to escape the emptiness within. I had another patient, Bill, 67 years old. He was a strong man, always proud of his masculinity and self-control. But then he started to feel something was off. He told me that now it took him twice as long to reach orgasm, and he didn't even enjoy it anymore. It feels like a detached, empty machine, he said. I don't feel the connection, the satisfaction I used to. I feel like I'm performing an obligation rather than enjoying myself. We worked together to reduce his screen time and help his brain recalibrate. We started by setting clear boundaries, for example, watching only once a week or even once every 2 weeks. We encouraged him to seek out other natural sources of dopamine, real joys in life. Regular exercise, reading, pursuing personal hobbies like gardening, fishing, painting, or connecting more deeply with friends and family. We also discussed the importance of meditation and mindfulness to reconnect with his inner emotions. Within just a few weeks, he told me something I'll never forget. Dr. Miller, I didn't realize how much I had numbed myself. I feel like I'm waking up again, as if a fog has lifted from my mind. That's what can happen. It's not just about performance, it's about presence. It's not just about function, it's about feeling. You don't have to give up pornography forever if that's not your choice. But you must be honest with yourself about the price it's costing you. Because if you're over 60, your brain is more sensitive to chemical signals than ever before. And the very thing you think is keeping you connected might be the reason you feel more disconnected than ever. So I'm going to ask you this. When was the last time you felt truly alive in your own body? Not from a screen, not from imagination, but from real touch, real breath, real emotion, from a kiss, a hug, or a peaceful moment with someone you love. If it's been a long time, you are not alone, and you are not broken. Perhaps you just need space to reset. Your pleasure system is still within you. You just need to give it a chance to recover, to find its natural balance again. Mistake number 2. Using it for sleep, the hormonal backlash. Now, as we continue, I need to tell you about the next mistake, one that might surprise you because it's something most men do, thinking it helps them relax and fall asleep. In reality, it could be destroying the very rest and recovery your body desperately needs, silently draining your energy and making you wake up feeling more tired than when you went to bed. I can't count how many times men have looked me straight in the eye and said, "Dr. Miller, it's the only thing that helps me sleep." I've tried everything from sleeping pills to meditation, but only that helps me get a few hours of shut-eye. And I truly understand that desperation. You wake up at 2 or 3 a.m., your mind racing with worries with nameless thoughts. Perhaps your body feels restless, uncomfortable, or aching. So you turn to what's familiar, release a little tension, have a moment of false peace, and drift back to sleep. Seems harmless. In fact, it seems helpful, a quick fix for a nagging problem. But what I've learned after years of working with thousands of men is that this nighttime habit is silently doing the exact opposite of what you think. Let me tell you about Frank, 66 years old. He's a veteran, always proud of his discipline and health. He's an early riser, exercises regularly, and used to be full of energy. But lately he started complaining of chronic fatigue. His mind was foggy in the mornings, and a growing sense of frustration weighed him down. He wasn't sleeping through the night, often waking up in the middle of the night and struggling to fall back asleep. He woke up feeling groggy as if he hadn't rested at all. "I don't understand, Dr. Miller," he said. "I sleep very well after I'm done, feel very relaxed, but the next day I still feel terrible. I feel like an old car, running endlessly but never getting refueled, just slowly running out of gas." So I asked him when and how often he engaged in self-pleasure. He told me almost every night, around midnight or later, whenever he woke up and couldn't fall back asleep. He considered it his natural sleeping pill. Here's what most men don't know, and it's a crucial scientific secret. When you masturbate at night, especially after 60, your body doesn't just release tension. It also releases a cocktail of important hormones, oxytocin and prolactin. Yes, they can help you relax and feel peaceful immediately afterwards, creating an instant drowsy feeling. But they also cause a sudden drop in testosterone, the crucial male hormone for energy, libido, and muscle recovery. At the same time, it disrupts the timing of melatonin secretion, the hormone that actually controls your sleep cycle, helping you fall into deep sleep and stay there. The feeling of peace afterward is fleeting, a trick played by your body. What follows is often shallow, fragmented sleep that doesn't allow your body to recover. You might get a few hours of sleep, but it's not quality sleep, not the deep sleep your body needs to repair, regenerate, and restore energy. And as we age, our systems don't recover as quickly as they used to. Our hormonal balance is much more delicate. The interplay between testosterone, melatonin, and cortisol, the stress hormone, the vital rhythms that control how we sleep, heal, and cope with stress, can easily be disrupted. What seems like a gentle ritual is actually sending chaotic signals to your body, disrupting your natural biological clock. At first, Frank didn't believe me. He thought I was trying to take away his only sleeping pill. But he agreed to try something different. For 1 week, he gave up his nightly habit. Instead, he focused on relaxing routines before bed. A warm bath with lavender essential oil, slow and deep breathing exercises, reading a light book, not news or work-related, listening to meditation music or nature sounds. And in the morning, when his body naturally produced more testosterone levels typically peak in the morning, he allowed himself to engage in self-pleasure if he felt the urge. By the 4th day, he came to my office looking completely different. His eyes were clearer, his posture straighter, and a radiant smile was on his face. He smiled and said, "Dr. Miller, I had forgotten what it felt like to sleep through the night. I feel like I've been fully recharged after years of exhaustion. I wake up without needing coffee, my mind is clear, and I'm ready for a new day." That's the power of timing and understanding. Masturbation isn't the enemy, but performing it at the wrong time, when your body needs to recover, can steal the very healing you're hoping for. And here's another part one wants you to hear. When your sleep is affected, everything in your life is affected. Your mood becomes irritable, your memory declines, your libido fades, and your cardiovascular health is also at risk. I've seen men gain uncontrollable weight, feel more anxious, become easily irritable, and even fall into severe depression. All of this can be caused by chronic sleep disruption due to hormonal imbalances at night. You don't have to stop completely, but changing the timing and the way you engage in self-pleasure can be the key to regaining energy, focus, and quality sleep. Especially if your mornings are always a struggle, a battle against fatigue. It's worth considering that your nighttime habit might be part of the problem. Listen to your body. It's trying to tell you something very important. It's calling for the recovery and balance you deserve. Mistake number 3, too much pressure, nerve damage over time. Now, as we continue, I need to tell you about perhaps the most physically damaging mistake, one that many men are completely unaware of until it's too late. Because while hormones can recover, the next issue, when ignored for too long, can leave much more difficult to heal, long-lasting damage. In fact, it's a mistake that has silently robbed countless men of their sensitivity, their confidence, and their ability to enjoy intimacy, leaving them feeling disconnected from their own bodies and their partners. Let's examine this more closely. It's heartbreaking to talk about this, because by the time most men realize what's happening, the damage has already occurred, and the recovery process can take a significant amount of time and effort. It creeps up on you slowly over years, even decades, and most men never think back on it because it's a deeply ingrained habit. I've had men in their late 60s and 70s come to my office frustrated and confused, saying they've lost sensation. "Dr. Miller, I can still get an erection," they'll say with a glimmer of hope in their voice. "But I don't feel much. Sometimes I don't feel anything at all. It's like a numb arm, no sensation, no life." And what's worse, they blame themselves. They assume it's just due to age, an unavoidable part of the aging process, a sign that they're past their prime. But often that's not the case. I particularly remember a man named Mark, 71 years old. He was a retired architect, a sharp, humorous man, still full of life and intellect. He still participated in book clubs, went hiking, and played golf. But the sadness in his voice was unmistakable when he spoke about his sex life. "I used to feel everything," he told me, his voice low, his gaze distant. "Now I just go through the motions like a machine. I want to connect with my wife, want to feel her closeness, her warmth, but I can't feel her. I can't even feel myself. It's like an invisible wall separating me from the emotions I once had, from the joy I once experienced." When I asked him about his habits, he said he had been using the same technique since his 20s. Fast, tight grip, no lubricant, because that's what always worked, that's what I always did. And that's precisely the problem. The penis is an incredibly delicate organ, not just in terms of function but also in its structure. It's filled with fine nerve endings, especially along the dorsal nerve, which is responsible for transmitting sensation to the brain. Imagine these nerves as extremely sensitive guitar strings. When you play the guitar correctly, gently, and skillfully, the sound is clear and melodious, bringing exhilarating emotions. But if you constantly pull, yank, or apply too much force to them, over time those strings will wear down, get damaged, or even break. When the nerves are damaged, their ability to transmit sensory signals to the brain is severely impaired. When you consistently apply too much pressure, repeatedly over many years, those nerves begin to wear down and get damaged. It doesn't happen in a day, not even in a year. But gradually, sensation becomes dulled, erections weaken, orgasms become more difficult, or even disappear entirely. And by the time a man realizes it, he has lost something precious. The ability to feel and fully enjoy intimacy, the ability to connect deeply with his partner and with himself. This isn't about shame. It's about awareness and change. You've spent decades learning how your body works. But the truth is, your body changes over time. What felt normal or pleasurable at 25 could actually be harming you at 65. Just as your knees or back need a gentler approach as you age, so does your sex life. You need subtlety, gentleness, and attention to every tiny sensation. Mark decided to change everything. He attended a consultation with me and learned about the importance of changing his technique. He started using a gentler grip, more like a caress than a tight hold. He slowed down, focusing on sensation rather than just reaching a goal. He started using lubricant for the first time in his life, something he had never considered before, always thinking it was unnecessary or only for young people. And most importantly, he allowed himself mental and physical rest. He spent time reading, meditating, and reconnecting with his wife through simple acts of affection, not putting pressure on sexual intimacy. Within a month, he started to feel tingling sensations return. At first, they were very faint, like flickering lights in the dark, but they grew stronger. That's when he looked at me and said a sentence I will never forget. "Dr. Miller, I thought I was broken. I'm not broken. I was just literally being too hard on myself. I was hurting myself without even knowing it. You see, your nerves can regenerate, but only if you give them a chance. If you feel numbness, disconnection, or frustration, this could be the reason. You're not too old. You might just need to relearn how to treat your body with gentleness and respect. Masturbation isn't meant to cause pain. It's meant to nurture, to connect, to restore, and it can still do that if you change your approach, if you listen to your body and give it the care it deserves. Mistake number 4. Emotional disconnection. When loneliness hides behind a habit. Now, what we've discussed so far has been about the physical, your brain, hormones, nerves. But the next mistake, it runs deeper than that. It's not about how your body feels, but about what your heart has been carrying. Because beneath all these habits, there's often something unspoken. A silent loneliness, a quiet shame. And most men never talk about it, but they should. And that's where we're going next. There's a kind of silence most people don't talk about. Not the peaceful silence of an early morning as you sip coffee and read the paper, but the kind of silence that creeps in when the house is too quiet, when no one calls, when the chair across from you remains empty day after day, when you find yourself alone on endless long evenings. I've had many older men sit in my office, and with a forced smile, a distant look in their eyes say, "Dr. Miller, I don't even know why I do it anymore. It's just a habit, a way to pass the time." They're not talking about desire. They're not talking about passion. They're talking about habit, about filling a void, about trying to feel something, anything to escape the emptiness. And I understand, I truly do. Because sometimes masturbation becomes the only thing that offers a moment's escape from the pain of missing someone, from the weight of years gone by, from the growing gap between the person you once were and the person you are now. It's a way to cope with emptiness, with loneliness that not everyone dares to admit, especially men who are accustomed to being strong, to hiding their emotions. But when that release is driven by loneliness instead of connection, it starts to change us. Not immediately, but gradually, deeply, and quietly. It's like trying to patch a large tear in your soul with a temporary patch, a patch that can never truly cover the real wound. You're seeking physical connection to compensate for a lack of emotional connection. I remember a man named Walter, 74 years old, a widower for 6 years. He was a gentle, quiet man who loved his wife dearly. When she passed away, he felt his whole world collapse. He didn't have many close friends, and his children were busy with their own lives. He turned to masturbation as a way to soothe his pain, to seek a little warmth, a little connection that he had lost. He told me, his voice choked with emotion, "Dr. Miller, it's not even about sex anymore. I just don't want to feel so lonely at night. I miss the warmth, not the touch, but the tenderness, not the orgasm, but the closeness, the presence of another person beside me." And he said that with so much sincerity that it stayed with me, haunting me for many nights. Because what Walter was really saying was that he missed connection, shared experiences, the presence of another human being. And over time, he had started to replace that need with a regular, mechanical, meaningless habit. He thought it was helping him cope, but instead, it was deepening the chasm between him and the life he truly longed for, with the genuine relationships he craved. When we masturbate without emotion, without presence, without intention, it can slowly reprogram our brains to seek sensation without intimacy. We train ourselves to choose isolation over vulnerability, to avoid connection because we fear the emptiness that might follow if it disappears again. We build walls around our hearts, trapping ourselves in a private world where physical release becomes our only companion. And when that happens long enough, we start to believe that this is all there is. That touch without love is normal. That pleasure without purpose is enough. But deep down, we know that's not true. Our hearts still yearn for connection, for warmth, for understanding. Walter eventually began to make small, yet meaningful changes. He joined a local men's group for widowers, where he could share his stories and feelings with others who understood, who truly empathized with him. He wrote letters to his wife, not to send, but to remember, to release the emotions bottled up inside, to heal the wound. He started taking morning walks with a neighbor, chatting about life, memories, and future plans. He also began volunteering at the community center, where he found joy in helping others and connecting with new people. And something changed. The next time he engaged in self-pleasure, it wasn't out of emptiness but out of self-care, a connection with himself. He told me, "Dr. Miller, it's different now. I'm not just killing time. I'm remembering how to feel again, how to live fully. That's what I want you to take away from this. Self-pleasure isn't wrong, but when it becomes disconnected from your heart, it starts to shape your relationship with yourself and the world around you. If you feel a sense of numbness, a lack of joy, a heaviness you can't name, it might not be age. It might be emotional distance disguised as a habit. You are not alone in feeling that way, and you are not weak for admitting it. In fact, acknowledging that silent pain might be the strongest thing you ever do, because once you see it, you can begin to heal it. And when you do, you might find that your body, your heart, and your life begin to feel whole again, filled with meaning and joy. Conclusion: the deepest mistake, ignoring what your body is telling you. Now we've gone through these 4 powerful truths. There's one final piece I need to share with you, and that's the thread that ties all of this together, the mistake almost every man makes, no matter how intelligent, strong, or self-aware he is. It's what has kept so many men stuck simply because no one ever taught them how to truly listen to their own bodies, how to recognize the subtle signals their bodies send. After all these years of working with men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, I can tell you there's one mistake that underlies every other mistake we've discussed. It's not just pornography dependence. It's not just timing or technique or emotional disconnection. It's something deeper, quieter, a deficit in education and awareness. It's that we were never truly taught how to listen to our bodies, how to understand their language. We were taught to be tough, to endure, to keep going, to ignore signals of fatigue, numbness, loneliness, frustration, and just push through. We often view discomfort as weakness and try to suppress it. And for a while it works. We can force our bodies to keep going until it no longer works. Until sleep becomes restless, desire fades, intimacy feels like a distant memory, and you find yourself wondering if this is what it feels like to get old? Is this all I can expect from life? But aging doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean becoming numb. It doesn't mean accepting inevitable decline. On the contrary, it means learning to pay attention in ways we never had to before, learning to listen to our body's whispers before they become the shouts of illness. It means realizing that our bodies talk to us, sometimes with whispers like a little fatigue, shallow sleep, a restless feeling, sometimes with clearer symptoms like aches, difficulty sleeping, loss of desire. And the bravest thing you can do is to listen, to pause and truly pay attention. If any part of this message has resonated with you, take a moment. Just one moment. Ask yourself honestly without judgment. Am I ignoring what my body is trying to tell me? Am I overlooking the signals it's sending? If the answer is yes, that's okay. You're not too late, you haven't gone too far, you are not broken. You are waking up. You are at a new starting point, an opportunity for change. And when you choose to make even the smallest change in how you engage in self-pleasure, when you do it or why you do it, you're not just fixing a habit, you're reclaiming your health, your strength, your sensitivity, and your self-respect. And that is something no one can take away from you. Dear viewers, the journey of discovering the secrets to senior health is never easy, but it's a worthwhile journey, one that brings freedom and peace of mind. We at Aging Health Vital Guide are committed to always accompanying you, providing authentic knowledge and helpful advice so you can live every moment to the fullest, so that each day is filled with energy and joy. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Please like this video so more men can find the truth they've never heard, so they too can have the opportunity to change their lives. Please share it with a friend, a brother, a father, or anyone who might need to hear this, because a small action from you can ignite hope for someone. And I would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and let me know which part resonated with you the most. Have you experienced these mistakes? How did you overcome them? Or do you have any questions you'd like me to answer? Your sharing not only helps us understand you better, but can also inspire others. If you believe in content that supports men's health honestly and respectfully, please consider donating a small amount to help us reach more lives, so we can continue producing high-quality videos and spreading these meaningful messages to the community. Your support means a great deal. This is how we collectively change the conversation about men's health in their golden years, transforming it from a taboo subject into an open, humanistic, and hopeful one. Life is a gift, and health is the foundation to fully enjoy that gift. Don't let old habits, nameless fears, or a lack of understanding steal your joy and peace. Listen to your body, love yourself, and start the journey of change today. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video from Aging Health Vital Guide, where the soul always finds peace and health is restored. Don't forget to subscribe and share the love.